Friday, March 3rd, 2017. I'm your host, Sarah Mantle. We have a great show in store for you today. A local singer and songwriter wants to help other budding musicians with a local open mic night at the Centerville Library. We're going to learn more during our chat with Kim Moberg. Sandy Neck Beach Park manager Nina Coleman will join us. She's going to tell us about a statewide permit that will allow them a few new tools to deal with piping plovers. And Joe Izzo will join us with an update on the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. All of that on this episode of Barnstable Today. But first, let's get a look at today's top headlines. Town Council approves plans for a new $6.5 million carbon treatment system at the Marwell field. The proposal comes after the town has been purchasing water from Yarmouth at a rate of about $1.25 million a year. The project would be funded with a bond issue and would be included in the FY18 operating budget. Town Council also voted to accept a $15,000 grant from the Lyndon Paul LaRusso Charitable Foundation. The money will be used to support the 2017 Youth Summit and Community Substance Abuse Forum. The Barnstable School Committee votes to do away with class rank at Barnstable High School. Principal Patrick Clark and school counselor Jen Clark urged the committee to support the proposal for many reasons.
We work with the students, counselors work with these students and parents all throughout the years, and just the stress that the students felt and the need to just ramp up the number of AP courses they took to raise their rank, coming into the 8th grade class already thinking about how were they going to position themselves to be number one. And then the conversations with students and parents of how to manage that and how to balance the life and how to make good decisions so that you're healthy and so that you're academically prepared and you're taking courses that are the right fit for you. And then on the other side of that, conversations with college admissions reps who are telling us that this exact rank is actually hurting your kids, and that we get 1,000 students who apply who are ranked number one. It doesn't help. And so that exact rank not helping our students, but actually ending up, if they weren't number one, sometimes ending up hurting kids, or even the number one not making a difference in the students' admissions possibilities. So hearing it from all those different perspectives, hearing it from staff who also have similar concerns about students just taking classes to just boost their rank and not because it's a class they really want to take, was also a piece of it as well.
And after some discussion, the school committee voted to replace the class rank system with a decile system. 2 Barnstable food markets are applying for seasonal liquor licenses. Foodport International Market in Hyannis is applying for a seasonal wine and malt retail package store license, and the Cotuit Fresh Market is applying for a seasonal all-alcohol retail package store license. The licensing authority meets Monday, March 6th at 9:30 in the Town Hall hearing room. That meeting will air live on Channel 18. The Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority hopes to help college students on Cape Cod get to class. The CCRTA is launching a new College Express that departs from the Hyannis Transportation Center weekday mornings at 8:30. That bus will arrive at Cape Cod Community College at 8:45 in plenty of time for a 9 a.m. class. To learn more about the new route or other services, you can visit capecodtransit.org. Up next is our weekly Arts and Culture segment. So Kim, love the concept of an open mic night at a library. I think it's such a great concept. Do you think holding an open mic night at a library will allow more people to feel comfortable and come out?
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that, and that's part of the reason that we did it where we did it, that it would encourage all ages and all genres and all levels to come out and try and get their music heard or their art.
Let's go back a little bit and talk about your beginnings in music. You're a singer, you're a songwriter, you're out there performing all over the Cape, probably beyond the Cape as well. But how did you get your start? When did you start really playing out?
Well, I had stage fright for a very, very, very long time, and it was through open mics that I found my confidence. And I started doing it professionally about 2.5 years ago. Prior to that, though, my mother was a classical pianist, and she gave lessons to neighborhood kids, guitar lessons, when I was 14. And I had to type up the lyric sheets to earn my lessons. And that's when I started playing guitar. Put it aside for a while, went back and forth with it, and then put it aside for a long while I had a family and raised my kids, and then decided about 8 years ago to pick it up again. But stage fright kept me at home and in the basement until the open mics. So.
And you're not alone in that, I'm sure. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who are great musicians, very talented individuals who just don't want to go out there and do that. Is that why you started this open mic series at the Centerville Public Library?
That's exactly why we started this series, because there are so many people out there who have talent and who have the love and have the desire, but they're a little bit shy, or they don't get the opportunity really to get behind a mic. And this gives them the space, and it gives them the support that they need to move forward.
And we're all our worst critics, right?
Absolutely.
We're all our own worst critic. And I think maybe having a little bit of positive feedback, because if you aren't willing to play out in front of other people, you're not going to get positive feedback to give you the confidence you need. So really important, I think, for individuals. At Love Watching, you get an array of performers. I mean, every style is welcome.
We've had students from the middle school. We've had classical artists. My friend Misao Koyama, who is a jazz pianist and a piano teacher, offers to play for free at the open mic. All you have to do is come and bring your sheet music, and she'll accompany you. Plus, she's played there before. We have clarinet to guitar to poets to spoken word, you name it, and they've been there.
Wow, that is so cool. There's no charge to join in and participate in the open night mic, which is another great resource for our community, because a lot of people don't have, they wouldn't necessarily take that step if they had to pay for it.
Exactly.
But you do something to help the community while hosting the open mic night. You actually ask for donations to a local food pantry.
Yes, I do. I'm a strong believer in giving back to our community. We're all part of the same great big circle. And so the only thing that I ask for at the open mic is a donation for the local food pantry.
And you're actually, that food pantry is Family Pantry of Cape Cod.
Thank you.
They do such great work
do.
all over Cape Cod. So important to support that. Have you heard any feedback from participants who've taken part in the open mic night?
I've heard such positive feedback, but one story I will share. The gentleman walked in. He hadn't played music, evidently, I learned later, for quite some time. He saw, when he went into the library, he saw the poster that was on the wall, decided last minute to come in because his wife was out of town. And he told me the story when he came back the next month. And he said, I was in a very not good place that day, and I thought, what the heck, I'll just go in and see what it's about. And he said the environment was so welcoming and so comfortable that I played music that I hadn't played for years, and I'm back again. And the people that were here that day made a difference in my life.
You know, isn't that neat too? Because sometimes we don't think about art as therapy, but it really can be. It can make you involved in your community in a way that you hadn't been before, or it can just reignite that passion inside you that helps us to make the most of life.
Absolutely. Well, I think, we all want two things. We all want to be accepted and respected. And things like this open mic or other open mics that you'll find all across the Cape offer that opportunity.
And you've had a variety, not only different styles of music, but you've also had a variety of age ranges. So you've had an 8-year-old perform and an 82-year-old perform. That's quite a range.
At the very first open mic, we had a very good crowd turnout, and that was the range that one night. 8 years old to a woman who read her poetry. She was in her early 80s. It was fantastic.
It's beautiful. It must be very heartwarming to see. Do you get to see, too, people participate and come back and sort of watch them grow and even see their confidence flourish?
That's part of the fun of it for me, is to be able to see someone will come in and, they've learned a cover song, but then all of a sudden they think, geez, maybe I'm going to try my hand at writing a song. And they'll come in and they'll have a partially finished or a 3/4 finished song, and they'll get feedback and they'll get encouragement, and that's growth.
Yeah, so exciting. And I know the Centerville Library has been such a great partner for you. You guys teamed up to help do this. And it's become a monthly event at the Centerville Library. So this happens the second Tuesday of every month.
Correct.
What time would we show up? So I think registration begins at 5:30?
Yes, the sign-up sheet is set up at 5:30. The open mic runs from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. depending on how busy it is, but you can count on 2 songs anyway, sometimes more, depending on the crowd.
Wonderful. And if you don't have 2 songs, is it okay to just come with one?
Of course, yes, it is.
Wonderful. So no rules at the coffee house.
No rules, nope.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kim, for stopping by and telling us all about the coffee house. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And super big thanks to the Centerville Library and the folks there who have given us that amazing space downstairs to be able to host something so wonderful.
I'll have to come check it out. Thanks
you.
so much. We really appreciate it. Of course, our guest today, Kim Moberg, she is a singer, songwriter, hosting the Craigville Coffee House every month at the Centerville Library. Piping plovers have caused many beach closures over the years. This summer, we may have a few less. We're going to learn more about why with Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager Nina Coleman. So Nina, some very exciting news. Thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to learn this. I know a lot of work has gone into looking at regulations in the state and federal government that you have to deal with a lot of times related to piping plovers. They are part of the Endangered Species Act, which means you can't move them, you can't move nests, you can't do anything like that. And so it really did create a lot of beach closures, off-road closures for you guys. But you actually have some good news for us.
I do have some good news. We have been working for a number of years to obtain a permit that's going to help with some flexibility with managing plovers. It's not a silver bullet. We're not going to suddenly have the entire beach open, but it is going to help in some specific situations. So what started in 2014 was actually the state of Massachusetts, and a lot of people think that it's just regulations with them, but they're actually were the lead. Natural Heritage Endangered Species was actually the lead on obtaining a statewide permit called the Section 10 permit, which allowed in certain situations some flexibility in plover and tern management.
So it's a statewide thing, and then you jumped on that as the beach park manager for Sandy Neck. You wanted to be included in that. What will this allow you to do?
Okay, so then once they obtained those statewide, we started for what's called a certificate of inclusion. So the town of Barnstable applied to be part of that permit. And the activities that we requested through the permit are, the first part of it has to do with plovers. The first section of each, Sarah, I know you come to our beach, but as you, it all has to do with off-road, not the public beach, but as you pull onto the off-road beach, that first section of beach is been designated a recreation zone. Now you may not know this, but every year there's a pair of plovers poking around thinking about nesting right there. And if they nest, which they haven't in the last few years, the last time they nested there was 2013, if they nest, we have a complete beach closure. That's no way to run a beach, never knowing what's going to happen. So we created a recreation zone where we can actually deter plover nesting. We're not going to harm the birds. There's plenty of other places for them to go.
How do you deter them?
Well, we required under the law prior to this permit, we're required to provide them habitat with fencing, and we're actually able to reduce that fencing, so making it less attractive. We're also able to actually go in as plovers. I know we have a slide here, but plovers nest right in the sand, and we're actually able to put something down over that before the nest happens, and just sort of make it unattractive for them to move elsewhere.
So here we're looking at it, and looking at this picture, Nina, I can't tell you where the nest is. I can't find it. I have no idea where it is.
I know. I hope this makes you appreciate how hard it is to find these nests in the spring.
And imagine how this is how nature works, right? They are specifically it's purposeful that they blend right into the environment. I couldn't tell you where the nest is, and of course we can zoom in closer and find it. There it is.
Yep, that's a fairy nest.
Kind of tough to find.
Kind of tough to find. Piping plovers use the camouflage. Other birds have different ways of defending their nest, like putting it up in a tree or actually physically defending a nest, but plovers go with the camouflage. So they try to make it as much like the rest of the environment as possible. They make a little scrape in the sand. They actually decorate the scrape with some shells. You can see that picture there. That's a beautifully decorated nest, if you will, with those little white shells. And then they lay, that's a full clutches, 4 eggs. And it's right where the people want to be. That's the problem, isn't it? That's why they end up on the front page of the newspaper all the time. These nests are right at the toe of the dune. Very difficult to find and very heavily protected. So everything we do with nests, starting from when the plovers come in the spring and start pairing up, everything we do is dictated by the Endangered Species Act. So this permit allows us a little bit of flexibility in that, and the cost benefit of that, if you will, the benefit is that we have insurance that will have a beach available, some beach available for patrons. And that seems like a really nice compromise. We're not going to cause this pair not to be able to reproduce. They're going to go elsewhere. And in exchange, the people are going to have an opportunity to recreate. And I think that's what this permit is trying to do, is balance that a little bit more.
So you said for sure that they will allow you to use some measures to deter them from nesting in certain areas. If they do go ahead and nest there for some reason, would you be able to move the nest, or is that still off limits?
The permit does allow moving a nest. We'd have to revise our permit. Right now it isn't set up that way. We're pretty confident. I'm doing this for a lot of years. I'm pretty confident we can achieve the goal without having to move the nest. But there is those provisions in the Section 10 permit. And then the other goal that we were trying to achieve through this process is that late season, and I believe you go out there late season, our beach is extremely popular. It's heavily congested with the campers. And so what happens is our beach stays at about 1.5 miles, even past Labor Day, because of a tern colony at Trail 2. So a couple of terns, chicks, are holding the whole beach closed. And so the other part of this permit is to do limited escorts past those terns for the campers. So by taking a big group of campers and putting them on the other side of that closure line, it makes it better for everybody.
Wonderful. So I like how you're just dealing with it because you're just using nature, but you're keeping it there. You're just helping move around it, making sure it's safe, and trying to deter anyone from nesting in certain areas.
Right. It is trying to use nature. I think that this was a very long process, and a lot of scientists were involved, politicians, like the whole. Everybody, stakeholders is the word I'm looking for. There's a lot of different perspectives put into this statewide permit so that each site with site-specific issues could address it in a way that was, again, the best cost-benefit analysis for the birds and the people, and also, was the most scientifically sound. So with regard to escorting past terns, you can't do that without this permit, but terns stay in place. Terns are up by the toe of the dune, up in that grassy area. So escorting past them is pretty safe. It's pretty doable if you know what you're doing. So again, we don't feel like we're going to negatively affect those birds. So we're really happy that we have the opportunity of making the people happy at the same time.
Making the people happy at the same time, making sure you're still protecting the animals that were intended to be protected from the Act, the Endangered Species Act.
That's correct.
Thank you so much for joining us today and telling us all about this. Great news, good work. Sometimes it takes a long time, but good results yield in the end of that.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Thanks so much. Our guest today, Sandy Neck Beach Park Manager, Nina Coleman. It's always busy at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. We're going to learn about some upcoming events with General Manager Joe Izzo. So Joe, lots happening at the HYCC. It is high school playoff season. That means the HYCC is extra busy, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. We're fortunate to have so many winter sports teams call our building home, whether it's on the ice or on the basketball courts. So we're really excited that so many of our teams have advanced to the playoffs for the MIAA, and we were lucky this week to host a Barnstable High School girls varsity playoff game on Wednesday night versus Weymouth. And unfortunately, Barnstable did not come out victorious, but they had a great year, and it was a great way to end the year for them here in our building with a nice large crowd. And they put together a good effort, and it was a great season, and we were really happy to have them in our building one last time. On the ice and on the court, we've had Sturgis East, Sturgis West, the boys programs advance in the playoffs. St. John Paul boys advance into the playoffs. Sturgis East girls and St. John Paul girls all advance to the playoffs. Some have already bowed out this week, and others are still fighting to advance into the playoffs. So it's really a neat time for us here at the beginning of March in the building, because it's the culmination of so much hard work and determination by these high school kids, and you get to see it, the excitement on their faces every day when they come in the building.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the vibe in the building, you can feel the excitement when you walk in. Very exciting.
Definitely.
Another thing that's coming up that happens every year at the HYCC is the Lobster Pot Tournament. This is one of the cutest hockey tournaments you'll ever see at the HYCC, because it features some younger players.
It does, yeah. It's the really little kids, and for a lot of these kids, it's their first tournament experience. Maybe the first time that they're going away with their teammates and their friends to stay in a hotel and play in a tournament, and play 3 or 4 games in 3 days. So it's just a wonderful tournament. Steve Devlin and his crew from Barnstable Youth Hockey put this on, and this is actually the 20th year of the tournament. And those kiddies skate here. They skate at Tony Kent. They skate at Gallo and at Falmouth. And the lobster pots in town when you see the lobster pot flags on the cars driving around up and down Route 6, up and down Route 28, in all the restaurants and hotel parking lots.
Yeah, and you're right. You do see those
goodness,
cars
yeah.
with those flags driving around, and
Yeah.
you'll drive by a hotel and half the parking lot's filled. So when I think about that, this is something that actually brings a lot of revenue in for our town. Just a lot of these individuals, like you said, are staying at hotels. They're visiting restaurants and local shops. So kind of a boost to the local economy as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's a great shot in the arm in the middle of March for a lot of the businesses and a lot of restaurants and hotels and gift shops, and it's just awesome thing to be a part of.
Yeah, so exciting.
And we were talking about kind of the vibe in the building. The vibe in the building for the Lobster Pot is unlike any other youth hockey tournament you will ever experience. The kids are happy, everyone's excited, people are smiling and having a good time. There's a rock band that sets up here at the HYCC and plays from Friday afternoon until Sunday when the tournament's over, and it got a really, really great feel. And it's open to the public. People can come in free. It's free of charge. You can come in and check out the games, or check out the revelry, or you want to get your picture taken with the lobster mascot. You can do that. So
or maybe you just want to hear that great music.
Yeah, definitely. It's really it's a wild scene. If you've never checked it out, it's definitely worth swinging in, maybe taking a half an hour or an hour, and checking out some hockey and all the other stuff that goes along with it. Maybe grab a hot chocolate at the Casual Gourmet.
I just love seeing the little hockey players out on the ice. It is adorable.
Me too.
Well, I want to talk to you about something else too. Spring program registration, that's happening now, right?
Yeah. It started Tuesday morning. Tuesday, February 28th is when we kicked off. And spring programs, I can't believe we're already talking about spring, but we have all kinds of stuff happening in and outside of the building. From learn to skate continues. There's flag football. There's the first tee program. It's just the sky's the limit for different programs to get kids involved this spring. So.
And they can sign up so many different ways. They can
Definitely.
sign up online. They can come into the building. They could. Can they do it by phone?
You cannot actually register by phone, but if you have questions or need anything clarified, you can definitely call us, and we'll answer questions and kind of walk you through anything that you need to do, whether it's like I said, info on the programs, or if you need help signing up for a username and password to register online, or you hit a hiccup trying to register online, give us a call and we'll help you out with that. But you can register online from the comfort of your own home, or you can come in and we'll be glad to help you out.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for joining me today, Joe. I really appreciate finding out everything that's happening at the HYCC.
Yeah, great. Thanks a lot,
All
Sarah.
right. Look forward to chatting with you in the next couple weeks.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye, Joe.
Bye-bye.
My guest today, Joe Izzo, General Manager of the Hyannis Youth and Community Center. Now let's find out what's happening around town in today's community calendar. Bass River Pottery is offering a pottery class for 7th graders and up. The class is a hand-building class, and students will be able to keep what they create. The class costs $25 and will be held at 50 Pearl Street in Hyannis, Saturday, March 11th at 10:30. You can email Carrie Bickford. Her email address is kbickford@barnstablecounty.org to hold your spot. The Hyannis Public Library will discuss Mayflower, a story of courage, community, and war by Nathaniel Philbrick for its next American History book group. The group will meet Tuesday, March 14th at the Hyannis Public Library at 3:30. All are welcome to attend. Well, there are no board, committee, or commission meetings today. We'll be back Monday with another great show for you. On Monday, we'll chat with Cape Cod Community College spokesperson Michael Gross. We're going to learn about the Senior Center's annual St. Patrick's Day lunch with Madeline Noonan and so much more. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.